All right, let's jump right in. We're not just going to run through another financial to-do list today. We're digging into the core ideas from Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover. And it's really all about challenging your fundamental beliefs about money. This is a total mindset shift. I mean, does this quote hit home for you? It just perfectly captures that feeling so many of us have had. You're working so hard, but you're getting absolutely nowhere financially. It's that exhaustion and that hopelessness. And it's the exact feeling this whole plan is designed to completely smash. So, what does that gerbil wheel actually look like in real life? Well, Ramsey argues it's what's become the normal experience. But here's the thing, normal doesn't mean it's good, not even close. In fact, he says it's this painful rut that we've all kind of been taught to just accept as reality. And that feeling, it's not just one thing, is it? It's the crushing weight of all the debt. It's the constant nagging anxiety of having no savings to fall back on. And it's that total loss of control. It all builds up to that one moment where you finally admit, I am just sick and tired of being sick and tired. That right there, that's the breaking point. But here's the biggest hurdle, and it's a tough one. You can't fix a problem you refuse to actually see. So, the first real step is what Ramsey calls facing the financial mirror. And it requires some pretty brutal honesty with yourself. So let's just get right to it. This is the question the book really forces you to ask. Is your financial situation just a little flabby, or is it genuinely out of shape? It is so easy to tell yourself you're doing okay, that you're just average. But here's the reality check. Average in this case is broke. And that's exactly how we get into trouble, right? Nobody just wakes up one day and decides to have a financial crisis. It's a slow burn. A small loan here, a car payment there. And like that frog, we don't even notice the water getting hotter and hotter until it's almost too late. It's that slow, gradual slide into mediocrity that is so dangerous. It's not some huge financial disaster that stops most people from becoming wealthy. It's being just fine. Because just fine doesn't create any urgency. It doesn't light a fire under you to make massive changes. It just keeps you comfortable, right there in the warm water, unwilling to make the sacrifices that lead to huge results. And this acceptance of being just fine is fueled by one of the biggest cultural lies we've all been sold, the great debt myth. To really get financially fit, you have to unlearn what our culture has been teaching us our whole lives about borrowing money. So here's the core conflict. Our culture, from banks to advertisers, tells us debt is this sophisticated tool. You hear about OPM, other people's money. Sounds smart, right? But Ramsey counters that with a starkly different truth. Debt makes you a slave. It takes away your freedom and puts you under the control of whoever lent you the money. Okay, let's make this real. $495. That's the average monthly car payment mentioned in the book. Almost $500. Just stop and think about what that money could do if it were being invested for your future instead of being poured into something that's losing value. It's a massive wealth-building opportunity that just vanishes every single month. And speaking of losing value, this number is just staggering. A new car, on average, loses 60% of its value in the first 4 years alone. So you're making that $495 payment while the thing you bought is actively losing thousands of dollars in value. The math simply does not work in your favor. It's a terrible deal. So if the math is so obviously bad, why do we do it? Well, this leads us to the absolute core principle of the total money makeover. It's not a math problem. It's a behavior problem. This quote, right here, it changes everything. We think we need more information or more sophisticated strategies, but Ramsey says that's only 20% of the equation. The vast majority, 80%, is all about controlling the person in the mirror. It's about self-discipline, habits, and your mindset. See, it's not about being a financial genius. The concepts are simple. Spend less than you make. But actually doing it, that's the hard part. It's all about your behavior, day in and day out. That's where the real work and the real victory happens. This is the ultimate moment of truth. And look, it can be tough to hear, but it's also incredibly empowering. Because if you are the problem, it means you don't have to wait for the economy to change or for a raise to come through. You hold all the power. You are also the solution. So what happens when you actually embrace this mindset shift? What does it look like in real life? This is where we see the payoff, where all that sacrifice turns into a completely incredible new reality. Take a look at the Stolworthy family. This isn't theory. These are real people who just decided to change. And get this, in one focused 6-month period, they paid off $57,000 of debt. That kind of intensity is what happens when you decide you're totally done with normal. And what was their secret? They say it themselves. It wasn't some magic investment. It was teamwork, just getting on the same page at the same time, planning together and working toward a shared goal. That's behavior, not head knowledge. This is the motto of the entire plan, and it perfectly sums up the whole mindset. It's really a promise. If you are willing to make short-term sacrifices that other people just aren't willing to make, like driving an old car or saying no to things, then later on you will get to live a life with a level of financial freedom that other people can only dream of. And that brings us to the final and really the most important question. After seeing the problem, the myths, and the potential, the challenge isn't about understanding the steps. It's about facing that person in the mirror. So, are you ready for that challenge?